All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the very first rule from Jordan Peterson's mega bestseller, 12 Rules for Life. And to really get our heads around this rule, which is all about posture, we've got to start in a pretty weird place.
So let's just dive right in. Our story actually starts at the bottom of the ocean, with the lobster. And believe it or not, this little guy has a ton more in common with us than you could ever imagine.
You see, lobsters are kind of obsessed with status and territory. So when two of them want the same choice piece of real estate, they don't just, duke it out. Nope, they follow this really strict, almost formal process to figure out who's boss. It's a high-stakes game they've been playing for millions of years.
So first up, it's all posturing. They wave their claws, they spray these chemical signals at each other, basically saying, look how big and tough I am. If that doesn't settle things, they move on to threats, a kind of intimidating dance. If nobody backs down, well then things get physical. Level 3 is a wrestling match where they try to flip each other over, and only as a last resort do they go to an all-out, potentially deadly fight. But here's the fascinating part. This whole ritual isn't just about winning a fight. It's about establishing a clear winner and a clear loser, and that distinction literally changes their brains.
Yeah, that's right. The outcome of that fight completely rewires the lobster's brain chemistry. From a neurochemical standpoint, a victorious lobster and a defeated lobster are two totally different animals.
And this is where things get really interesting, because it points to this super deep biological truth. The winner gets a big shot of serotonin. It stands taller, it struts around like it owns the place, and it's ready for the next fight. The loser, its serotonin levels absolutely plummet. It gets timid, it literally scrunches itself up to look smaller, and it will avoid conflict at all costs. Its entire body language just screams defeat.
And get this serotonin thing is so fundamental that if you give a defeated lobster a human antidepressant, which boosts serotonin, it could actually get its confidence back and be ready to fight again. Now look, this isn't just some weird trivia fact. It proves that the brain hardware for processing your status, for figuring out your place in the world, is incredibly, incredibly ancient.
This principle, this idea that winners tend to keep winning and losers keep losing, it's not some new human thing. It is everywhere in nature. It's a pattern so common it even has a name, sometimes called the Matthew Principle.
It's also known as Price's Law. You see it everywhere, like a tiny handful of scientists publish most of the papers. Just a few composers wrote most of the classical music we listen to. And yeah, in the lobster world, the top lobster gets the best territory, the best food, and all the females.
So here's the really crucial takeaway. This whole system for navigating social hierarchies has been around for over 350 million years. That is older than trees. So this isn't about capitalism or some modern human invention. No, it's a permanent, fundamental feature of reality that our nervous systems grew up in.
So that brings us all the way back to you and me. Because deep down in your brain, you have that exact same ancient piece of machinery. Think of it like a primal calculator. And it's always running, always keeping track of where you stand in the social world.
If this calculator senses that you're doing well, that you're respected, it gives you a nice, steady dose of serotonin. You feel calm, you feel confident. The world looks like a place of opportunity. In your posture, it's naturally upright and relaxed. But if it thinks you're losing, that you're low on the totem pole, it slams the brakes on that serotonin. Suddenly the world looks dangerous, you feel anxious, your posture droops, and your body is stuck in this high-stress emergency mode that just grinds you down over time.
The problem is, sometimes this ancient calculator gets stuck. It gets caught in what's called a negative feedback loop. And this is a vicious cycle where our own reaction to a problem, well, it just makes the problem worse.
So just think about something like depression. A person starts to feel useless, like they're a burden, right? So what do? They pull away from people. And that act, pulling away, just makes them feel even more alone, more isolated.
Which, of course, only confirms that first terrible thought. See, I am useless. And the whole thing just spirals downwards, feeding on itself.
And your posture, your physical body, can kick off the exact same kind of feedback loop. If you walk around in a defeated, hunched-over posture, maybe because of things that happened in your past, you are physically broadcasting to yourself and to everyone else that you're low on the totem pole. And that can actually invite the very treatment that reinforces that feeling, trapping you in that loop.
Okay, so what do we do about this? This is where we get to the heart of the rule and the whole idea behind the book's subtitle, An Antidote to Chaos.
The book basically lays out reality as this kind of cosmic drama between two big forces, order and chaos. Order is the stuff we know.
It's structure, society, predictability. Chaos, well, that's the unknown, the unexpected, where new things come from. And the idea is that a good life, a meaningful life, is lived right on the edge, on that line between the two.
So stand up straight with your shoulders back. This isn't your mom telling you to have good posture. It's a profound statement. It's a physical decision to tell that ancient part of your brain that you are choosing to face life, voluntarily, that you are accepting the whole messy, beautiful, and difficult burden of being.
And that physical act sends a signal, a powerful one, right back to that ancient calculator in your head. It basically says, hey, I'm ready, I can handle this. And that can be enough to start releasing serotonin again, kicking off a positive feedback loop. You start to feel more confident, which makes you act more confident, which gets you better reactions from people, which, you guessed it, makes you feel even more confident.
So at the end of the day, here's the big idea. Your posture isn't just a result of how you feel, it is also a powerful cause. It's a tool that you can actually use. So facing the world head on, literally standing tall, that's step one. That's how you begin to navigate the complexity of life with courage. Which leaves us with a pretty powerful question, right? If your own posture can signal victory to your brain, how are you going to choose to stand?